this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. Today with the second video or the second part of my craft room storage tips. Today the topic, as you can see from the title, is about the actual storage. And I want to, oh, by the way, the first part was about tidying and decluttering. So if you haven't watched that, I suggest you watch that first, because that's one of my sort of little rules. Don't store anything that you're not using. So you need to get rid of stuff first if you want to store your stuff sensibly. I have to explain a few things before I show you how I store things. I said this in my last video. I used to have a problem with clutter, and I still have a little bit. It's not gone as such. But as far as storage was concerned, I was struggling in all sorts of areas, not just my craft room, until I found a lady on YouTube. Her video channel is Clutterbug, and I'm going to link to a video below. Her name is Cassandra Arson. She's from Canada, and she found out in her work, well, with herself and then with clients, that people organise differently. And she realised, as well as I did on YouTube and Pinterest, that people sort of store differently. And when you look at like Marie Kondo and you find that wouldn't work for you, or I see craft rooms on YouTube and I'm thinking, that's not going to work for me. I tried various things that didn't work for me until I came to the conclusion by watching this Clutterbug video, or the videos, that I have got a different storing style or decluttering style. And so this is why I'm linking to the video below. Cassandra Arson has got a free test, and she differentiates 4 styles. And there is this one style which is called the butterflies, which one would assume is what crafters usually are. You have got all your supplies on display, and you'd love to look at your stuff, but my craft room's not like that, because that doesn't work for me. There is one new YouTuber, I'm not naming her because I'm not judging her, because she's a different clutter style, or clutter bug as Cassandra Arson calls them. She has got all her blending brushes on display in little picture frames. You might know who I'm talking about. That just makes me cringe. So I am a ladybug, as Cassandra Arson calls it. Obviously in English it's a ladybird. And these are people, ladybugs or ladybirds, that like to have easy access to their supplies, but they don't like to look at their supplies. So I originally thought about having mine hidden but accessible storage. I probably won't do this in the title, but this is what this is about. So if you find you're struggling with having things out, all things out, or you're struggling with what they call micro-organising, so quite often you see videos of YouTubers and they've got boxes and little compartments, and they put the red sequins in here and the blue ones in there and the little ribbons there, and they tidy everything in small categories. And that is all good. We can do that. But if we want to put things away again, we don't do that. We don't open all the little compartments. And this is why this doesn't work for us. So this is why we end up in the mess that we do have. So I hopefully can show you some storage solutions that have worked for me. Is my craft room tidy? No, not 100%. Do I always put things away? Definitely not. And by the way, I will show you the things that are not tidy, but they still work for me as far as storage is concerned. So when I do have the time, I can take the time to tidy this up. But most of the time I like procrastinating, so I like to craft instead. But yeah, as I said, I hopefully have got a few tips for you and can open your eyes to maybe why you're struggling to put your things away. And yeah, so I think that's enough for an intro. I hope I will remember to show and explain everything that I've got here. I've only got a few notes. As I said, I haven't scripted this properly, and I will try to keep my camera as still as possible. So yeah, I shall dive right in. I think I will start with a few tips to start with, and then show you the different categories of paper crafting. So you've seen this in the background. This is the Expedit from IKEA. This is the predecessor to the Calyx. So I've got cube storage here. I've had this for over 20 years. I got this when I was a teacher in Germany, and I thought it was handy. I love the drawers about this. I will show you how I organise or utilise them, I should say. The only difference between the Calyx and the Expedit is that the frames are a bit thicker on the outside, but otherwise they're the same size. Now, when I originally got this, I only had the drawers, and this was all open shelving. And when I moved here to the UK, I didn't like the open shelving anymore, and that makes sense once I found out, or made sense once I found out that I'm a ladybug, because we don't like too much clutter to look at. We like what Cassandra Arson calls simplicity, visual simplicity. And I was glad I got these because I can hide my stuff behind here and it's not too overwhelming to the eye. I actually had quite a few decorations on the front as well. I've only got a few bits here, but that was too much. I even took those off, and I quite like the fact that I can hide my clutter behind it. I've still got it organised, and I'll show you now how. So I just realised I'm better off showing it to you like this. So I have utilised the inside space, because this is quite tall, by putting these cardboard drawers in there. Again, I've had these from when I was a teacher, and I bought these in Germany. I have since been trying to find something similar in the UK online. I cannot find it, so apologies, I cannot link to anything below. But I will show you something else that I have created myself. You can also build these from foam board if you wanted to, but the good thing about these is this is, for example, are my glues, and these drawers are really deep. They hold A4 sheets, so you can tell how deep they are. So I'm utilizing most of this space here. Whatever space I have got on the side, these, for example, are my vinyl sheets. And yes, I have crammed on stuff on top, apologies for that, which needs to be sorted. I know that's some Paper Craft Society boxes, contents of it anyway, some rubber stamps. I know that, as I said, it's not perfectly tidy here, but it's good enough. The other thing I have done in most of the doors is I've put magnetic sheets on them to put all my dies on display, and I have got certain categories. As you can see, these are sentiments, and if you're wondering what this is a little reminder of some sentiments I've got in here, because I had so many I didn't know where to put them, so I just put this here, and the sentiments are in one of the drawers, so I know what I have got. And this is important for a ladybug. We are these kind of people, out of sight, out of mind, and we easily forget what we've got if we don't remind ourselves. But sometimes it doesn't help to just have a sticker on the boxes or whatever. It's okay with the drawers. These are in German, so that's my liquid glues, my sticky tapes, like sellotape. I've got my embossing folders here, and I want to show you that as well as a little tip. This one is now really full, and I will have to have a declutter soon if I want to bring any more embossing folders in, because that's their only space. I will have to declutter. So one in, one out, they say in the decluttering world, and it is true. So just wanted to show you these as well. These are individual drawer compartments, and again I've just clipped them together with some bull clips, but I'm utilizing the space, and the space I have on the side I use for my 12 by 12 paper packs. Yeah, and I've got another sort of, well, this is a lid from a box up on the top, And again, I've got bits and bobs on the top. Mostly it's my flower making stuff, my foam, but I've also got the odd of pattern paper on the top because this one again is full to the rim. I need to sort this, but it helps me to keep things organized. And these, by the way, are my nesting dies. This is a little tip. If you do the magnet thing, I've also put some little hooks on here. So for the odd ones or random ones, round and oval ones, I'm keeping these here on the hooks. So that, because the important thing is that if I've got them on display, I can easily take them off, easily put them away. And yes, these might get in the way with the ones in the back, but these are really easy to take off. I've seen crafters on YouTube, they have got them on magnetic sheets in a folder or in a compartment, like in a box. That does not work for me. I need these readily available. And again, if I see them, I know what I have got. So I'm doing the same here with the square and rectangular ones. And this is another thing I can suggest. If you don't have the drawers, I've got 2 baskets. These I think are from Home Bargains, especially this time of year, beginning of the year, when everyone organises. You can get them really readily available. And I have put, let me just zoom in without making you dizzy, I've put some corner metal elements here. They're, well, like shelf holder elements. I had these from a cupboard I got rid of. And this is just an upside down IKEA tray. There's like a birdie tray. They do square trays and they fit perfectly in here. A little word of warning, if you see online, you know, the paper trays you can buy from cardboard, once you've got the doors fitted, because they've got these inside walls, they won't necessarily fit. So these usually only work for open shelving. So these, by the way, hold my envelopes and cards, and I've got smaller ones on the top, so sorry if that's not zooming properly. So I can easily pull these out, grab what I need, or even take them out and then put them away again. So I want to show you my paper storage without wobbling too much. So what I have got inside here are cardboard magazines. Now the magazine files, you can hardly see them here, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4 in here, and they help me to organize these bits a bit so that they're standing up. I find it easier to use the vertical space than rather having horizontal space, because I can easily pull these out. So I've got black and white here, and then the coloured ones, and then these are the browns, metallic, glitter cardstock, and this is mixed cardstock, and I'm okay with that. So sometimes when I bring something in, because they come in mixed packs, I just put them here like this. There's some pattern paper here. As long as I still see them, I'm okay with them being this. Sometimes I just shove pieces of paper just in between. But what I have done and can really suggest for ladybugs is I've got these clear folders here. And originally they had got a flap to go over the top and a button. And I cut those off, and I'll tell you why. If I have to take the whole thing out to put the scraps back in there, I'm very unlikely to do that. But by cutting the top off and just having this as an open top, I can easily just pull it out like this, stuff a scrap in and push it back in. And that really helped me to keep this tidy-ish, I should say. Yeah. So, and just to utilize the space on the top of the magazine folders, I've got these metal clamps again, and this is just, I think this is just some sturdy cardboard. I've got the same there. This bends a little bit. I've got some folders on the top there, some empties, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's all for you. And because it's hidden behind the door, yeah, nobody will notice. So here, just to show you this, I've got my letters and numbers, and on this side I've got more sentiments, and also these are for some stamps I have, although the stamps aren't that good. So yeah, I think I'll leave this here for now to show you this, and I'll show you more in a sec. So I would like to show you this drawer here. This has been a bit of a work in progress. Throughout my cluttering experience, I've tried things and I had to remedy things, but this works for me now. The important thing for ladybugs is, let me just pull this out without wobbling the camera too much. The important thing is that you've got open containers. So I've just got these trays in here. They are from Amazon, they're different sizes, and apologizes for the gilding polishes falling over there, but open containers help you to contain things within these larger drawers, but they're still sort of neat and tidy. Let me just pop this here for a moment. Sorry, I shouldn't really be following that. Just putting these straight again. So if I want to get to my gilding polishes, I can easily take the top tray out and I've got full access. And I've got full access here to my acrylic blocks. I've got my personal stamps here. I've got 2 acrylic sprays that I should really be using and have only used once. And this is just my collection there of sort of drops and stickers. And I've got 2 dimensional glues here. So, and just putting this one back again. So I can easily pop this back on. These are just my little ink pads, and yeah, just another little glue, so I can easily close this and it looks neat and tidy. So, but I do want to show you this as well. Not everything here is neat and tidy, but it is contained. This looks like a big mess, but what this is, these are all my glue, my pads, my tapes, my adhesive tapes. I've got my removable adhesive in here, and I've got my punches in here as well, which are only the corner punches. I've got 2 punches in the back there that I hardly use. Oh yeah, I've got a file in here, but I know what's in here, so I don't have to rummage a lot. And again, these are contained in a container, and these things are in trays, except for the stuff I've just dumped on the top. These are actually some surpluses that should be in the bag, but again, it's okay. It's okay if you just dump it in there. At least it's in the place where you can find it. And that's another tip for me. You need to assign places for your things. So think about, where would I find this if I looked for it, and this is where you should put it. For the dies, by the way, originally I put little stickers here just in the corner, so it's not too big. I didn't want too much, but for example, this one says foliage, and that's where I've got my foliage dies all on here. But again, you can see I've outgrown my space, and I have got quite a few flower dies that are in a container that need to find a new space. And as you know, I'm an honest person. I've also got drawers that look like this that need to be sorted. I've got my stamps that come with dies. I've got my stencils here. I've got loads of stencils that need to go back in the folder. This is an empty folder. I've got some cardstock there. So not everything is organised in my room, but I'm getting there. Whilst I'm on the topic of things that aren't organised, these are my 2 cards I have. These are the Raskog cards. I bought them at different times. They don't necessarily have these colours anymore. But I think I mentioned the tops last time. So I've got folders here with my stamps. Again, I'm looking at decluttering them, giving some away that I don't use anymore. I'm keeping things in these magazine folders. I've got one of these kitchen baskets here. That works okay for me, the top. But at the bottom, let me just zoom down here, I've got all sorts of stuff. I've got packaging, I've got my toilet roll here that I use like kitchen towel, I've got things at the bottom. This one, for example, let me just take this out. These are one of those things that you see on YouTube and Pinterest. This is a pickle jar, Branston pickle jar with beautiful ribbons. I did this one day when I thought, oh, I'm going to organise my life. Do I use these? No. Do I have them properly on display? No. So my point is, why have such a big storage item if I could easily put these ribbons on little pieces of cardstock and just store them away differently? So have a think when you when you see these things on YouTube. Is this really for you? Does it make sense in your craft room? Or would you not better be off putting things away in different containers behind closed doors? For my embellishments, as in beads and sequins, I'm using these food storage containers that come with these clips. I find these really useful because, again, I can dump stuff in there and then just put it in here. So I've got like white beads, these are mixed sequins, I've got rhinestones and rounded beads or flat beads, and yeah, I think these are really useful. But I'm not making a secret out of the fact that there is stuff that looks like this down there. Again, I've got this drawer and the one above that I definitely need to reorganize. Take a breath, look at this here. These are some more embellishments. These are only bought recently, so loads of stuff in here, but it's okay. I know I've got embellishments in here, so if I look for anything, this is the only place where I need to look. And yes, one day this will be organized too, but not at the moment. But that's okay. Give yourself some grace with your organizing. Give yourself some time. Don't be hard on yourself or angry with yourself. Decluttering takes time. Organizing takes time. Don't believe these things on YouTube and the tally that you can organize your life within 24 hours or a week. This definitely takes a lot of time. Now, this is a card that I only put together yesterday. I bought this a few weeks ago and I showed you that, I think, in the cardboard box in my last video. I was a bit hesitant buying it. This one's from IKEA as well, because I know that the more surface I have, the more likely I'm going to clutter the top surface. But I bought this in mind with putting things that I need to work on or put away on top, and this is what I'm using it for at the moment. So I've still got one of these baskets here that needs to be sorted. I've got an idea what's in it because I had a look through it yet, put all the rubbish away, put things away that were easily accessible. So I took my own advice, but I've got another box behind me, or another basket that needs sorting as well. Then on the side here, I've got, I showed you these in the last video, two of these little plastic containers here. At the moment, I'm using it to just keep some small bits in that need putting away. I've got my new Lavinia stamps here. I thought I would use them to store my ready-made cards, but they're not wide enough for 6-inch cards or even bigger ones, so I can't use it for that. If I should find in the long run I'm not utilising these, they will go somewhere else in my house. I don't need to have these in the craft room. What I used them for, and what I bought at least one for, is my visible image stamps. So you have seen this with other YouTubers. Sorry, it's not focusing. Basically, I leave these in the packaging here. I just cut the top open and I've stored these in here, and let me just show you that, because I've got 3 compartments. I made 3 categories. So this is nature, animals, and I've got the mushrooms there. This is food and drink, and this is everything else. So at the moment, that will help me to utilize my visible image stamps. Again, the stencils do not fit in there, so they need a new place. So, and then behind it, I have got this container here that holds my ready-made cards at the moment. Let me just take that out there. And this works for me at the moment. What I did have, I might just put a little photo in here at this point. Yeah, that was a card stand that I just sold recently. I had this when I had my sort of business. I sold my cards downstairs in the pub, but it didn't work in the long run, and the card stand was constantly getting in the way, so I sold it only a few days ago, just online on Facebook. So, and at the bottom at the moment I've got 3 tins, and you can see the little baskets there. They still need sorting out, and these tins hold ribbon, ATCs I've got from some crafty friends. And oh yes, this for example, another sign of out of sight, out of mind. I stored some Christmas cards away. Not last year, the year before, or beginning of last year, I should say. And did I remember that I had them? No, because they were in this lovely box. So my suggestion for you, or my tip is, use clear containers. If you use tins like that, you need to label them properly, otherwise you forget what you have. Oh, and this one, this little one, by the way, the caterpillar, he sometimes reminds me that I need to do things and tidy things, so he's just watching over that. So I've shown you the hidden storage, but now I need to show you my desk where I've got my accessible storage. These are all the things that I need all the time, or almost all the time, when I'm crafting. So I don't want these to be in drawers. For example, my ink pads, by the way, I have got a video that I can link below where I've built my ink pad storage. So they've got a little one here for my distress oxides. That one's not on the video, but it's just a shorter version, so it's less deep than the other one. But yeah, I had these in drawers when I had a smaller collection where you saw the gilding polishes, and it was getting a bit of a hassle to take the trays out using these, so I realised I needed these accessible. And for quite a while, until only a few weeks back, I didn't even have the storage in front of me because I was worried it would take away too much light. I actually had this, I'll show you that, not making you dizzy, behind my die cutting machine, just where you see the notebooks. And every time I wanted to reach for an ink pad, I was struggling because I had the die cutting machine in front of it. So I realised I needed this to be more accessible than it was. So don't be afraid of moving things around if you find they don't work for you. For example, it wouldn't work for me to have those on the wall somewhere where I have to reach really far. I need these where they are. I've got, this is a fairly new acquisition as well. When I went to IKEA, I bought this little lamp with, just happens to have a pencil holder, so I keep my magic glue in there. This is really handy now for filming. Then just lift the camera a little bit up. This is just a daylight I have, which helps me with the filming. So I'm going out of focus there. I've had this when I was a teacher, and I did a lot of marking, so I needed that. So I think to show you the other things, I might have to adjust the camera just a little bit. I quickly do this off camera. What you can see here are all the tools that need to be accessible for me. So I'm keeping mine in all these mugs. These are mugs I had anyway, but they sort of, some of them were a bit precious to me. I love my little Percy here. I didn't want his ears to be cut off in the dishwasher, so I'm keeping him here. But although this looks a bit like a mess, I'm containing everything on a tray, and that for me makes it a bit tidier than having them all standing around like that. Obviously, you could get a proper organizer. You could build your own organizer and have different compartments, but this works for me, and the mugs are fairly precious to me, so I thought I might just as well use them. So in this mug, I have got all my tools. These are my pokey tools, my bone folder, my pickup tool, my paper cutter here. This is what I keep in this one. Then I've got one mug here for my scissors. They're not all my scissors. I've just got the long ones. Then I keep these in here. I normally keep my scissors there that are for the sticky tape, but I've got them in a different project at the moment in a bag. And then I've got these nail scissors here that are really, really useful. What I have done though with this one here, I have made a little paper compartment just to keep these apart so they don't topple over. And I've got my brushes. These are just different pens. Some of them are novelty pens. I've got my glue erasers here, and I've got some wax here. This is for the shutter blind cards from Sam Callcott. You need a bit of wax to go make them go smoothly. I've got my pencil sharpener here and my glues here, and I've got the Cosmic Shimmer I've got separate here. This here looks like clutter, and it is clutter. I've got these little trays here. If ever I have something small, which can be a small die cut that I think I might be using again, or I've got bits and bobs like this I thought I might craft with, I just put them on there. It's okay for me because it's contained. Some of these I could put away, they have got a place, but that's fine by me. So another tip for me, create yourself a little bowl or a little tray. If you have clutter, put it on there. It doesn't hurt me, it doesn't get in the way. And if one day I feel like tidying it up, I'm sure some of these places, some of these things have got a space where they go. So then I have got my die cutting machine here. This is the Sizzix Fold Away, and I used to have that in a cupboard. This is why I bought it. When I first started paper crafting, I wasn't quite sure whether I would do this full time. So I bought this one because I could put it away in the cupboard. But with the time, I found I needed this so often, it didn't make sense to have it anywhere else. I thought about putting it on the card, on the IKEA card. I think I did that for a while. It didn't work for me. I realized I need to have this here next to me, ready to go for when I want to die cut. So this is why it's sitting here. And it's not too big. I'm fine with that. This, by the way, I didn't mention that before. I'll just zoom out a little bit without making you dizzy. This is a fairly big tabletop. I've put this on another Expedit, which is the 4x4 cube, but I put my cube on wheels, on casters. Sorry about the mess down there. This is my cat's cabinet, and this is a basket I've taken out so my cat's got some space in there. So, but whilst I'm down here, all these things that are in here, in these cabinets, they are things that I don't need all the time. There's some wool, there is some polymer clay, and there's some books, sewing books I'm thinking about decluttering anyway and giving away. So don't put any things in spaces that are difficult to reach. The same with a large Expedit. The things that are the bottom cabinets, they are all things I don't use all the time, because that will just get tricky to access those, and have the stuff that you need regularly on your top level, or as far as you can reach to the top, so you don't have to bend down all the time. So then I've got some notebooks here. This is where I put my crafty notes in when I'm planning a card. And then I've got this, I think you call it a letter file thing. I've got my, what's it called? Stamping platform in there. I've got a tile here that I use for certain crafts. I've got my, oh, words have gone now. My scoring board on here. I've got this placemat here, that I use if I need to do some extra crafting, and there's my Tim Holtz stamping platform. Oh my god, I've got brain fog now. So, and on the side, although it's accessible, I would still call that hidden, because when you come into the room, you can't see these. These are 2 bars from IKEA with these little containers that you clip on. And I've also got these hooks. This is a little silicone sponge I can use for cleaning my stamps. And I've got some cloth here at the bottom. So this helps me to have these things accessible, but not too much in the face. And again, I've organised these these are all my black pens. I've got my acrylic pens, my alcohol markers. These are some shimmer pens. This is very accessible because I can grab this when I'm at my desk here. These are my water bottles and my glue pens. And then these are a little bit less accessible. I only put them there recently, but that's okay. The further I go to the back, the less accessible it is, but these are just extra supplies. I can reach over there and take these baskets off if I need to. Whilst I'm on the topic of pens, I'll show you something that didn't work for me and I thought it would. By the way, next level up, I've got a shelf and I'm keeping my guillotine on here, and I normally got my second little guillotine just sitting on top, but again, that's in another room because I used it yesterday. But on the top, I'll show you this. I have got a pencil case. I thought I would put my alcohol markers in there and realised they didn't fit. So I put all my Sharpies in there, all my glitter gel pens. Ask me how many times I've used it since I put the pens in there. Yeah, one of those things, out of sight, out of mind. It does not work for me. I do not take it down, although it is accessible. Yeah, it's sort of one rule outweighed the other one. So if I don't see the things, I don't use them, and I will have to find a different solution for that. So when I go towards the back of my desk, this is where storage becomes less accessible. So I've got this Lazy Susan here. This is from Poundland, and I actually have to bend past this now to reach it. It's okay, because these are my glues and sprays and I don't use them all the time, so I'm okay with that. And underneath I've got my We Are Memory Keepers punch board, or boards I should say, with the letters. That's okay because I don't need it all the time. I can get to it, but it's not perfect. So again, keep in mind what you need to get to all the time. Have that towards the front. What you don't need all the time, you can have that towards the back. There is a tin there in the back. That's where I keep my spare brushes, paint brushes. And this here that looks a bit like a mess, this is all scrap paper from my pub quizzes. There are sports posters. I use these when I do some ink blending or other sort of crafting. There's an old calendar I can use, so I keep those. And that, just in case you're wondering what this is, this was a sewing mannequin, or is a sewing mannequin, but it's just the top bit. And because I'm not utilising that space there, because I can't reach it anyway, I thought I might just as well leave the mannequin on the desk there. I've got the bottom stand in a bag on the other side of the craft room. I just put that away because again it was getting in the way. So 2 more things I need to show you here. I realised the Minion mug that has got my rulers and my nail files in it, and then the one behind it, that's an idea from Sasha Reed. She uses a mug to keep long strips in, so for different projects. But I think, oh sorry, I've got 2 of those, but I think I need to declutter those recently because I haven't really used those strips. And then I've got another organizer behind there. I've got some mats here and some little boards I can work on, and these are my silicone mats for when I do some cutting. So just a few bits and bobs, but again, contained, they don't topple over, they're accessible when I need them to be, but they're not right towards the front because I don't need them all the time. There's two more things I need to show you. One is I wanted to show you where I keep my heat tool. This is just on the side of that cabinet. Oh, I explain also why I've got these here. So this is just on an old clothes hook. This is from my childhood, belonged to my brother, so I inherited that. And this is where I put my heat tool on. And sometimes I put my hot glue guns on there as well. But at the moment, I'm stored mine here. This is a container that had some coasters in it, so I'm just keeping my heat tool there because then it doesn't get in the way when I need to heat it up. And the other thing I need to show you that I bought only a few months ago that are really handy, let me just go around this way, are these containers here. I mentioned to you before I had my ink blending brushes in the drawer where I've got my gilding polishes now, and it wasn't working for me anymore because I got more inks. I needed more ink blending brushes, and I got these and I stuck them underneath the desk, and I think this is perfect now for me. So they're accessible but hidden, and I've got these 3 containers for different colors. So we've got reds and yellow, orange and purple there. I've got the blues and greens there, and this is sort of black and browns and greys, and that works great for me. And the one I've just shown you on the side here, that's just got my dinkles in it, so that works well for me. It's got a bit of space in there, so I might utilize that at one point. So I've just unplugged my lamp there to show you that in the corner there. And yeah, I just set up my camera to show you this. You might have been wondering, I showed that in the last video as well, why I don't have a proper doorknob on this. I use this to set up a background for when I need to take a photo of a card that doesn't photograph well lying down. So let me set up this camera and I'll show you how that works. So what I do is I'm using 12 by 12 paper sheets, and I can just clip these on here to create my background. And this is why I've got the magnets there, and this is why I don't have the doorknob there so that that doesn't interfere. And then I can pull these drawers out, and I have got a piece of canvas here that I covered with this wood foil really, and I can set this on here, and then I've got a space that I can take the photographs on. Once I've got this here, also a reminder, if you've got the drawers, don't hesitate to put a tray on there to utilize this when you need to dry your projects or whatever. I sometimes do that. Don't fall into the trap though of using this to store your projects for weeks and weeks and weeks. I have been known to do that. So I hope I could give you plenty of tips and inspiration on how to store your many craft supplies. You saw the things that work for me, the things that haven't worked yet, because it is a constant thing. I've got an influx of craft supplies sometimes, although I will make a 3rd part, I think, of this video series to show you what I'm a bit more mindful about buying, because I don't want to have many more supplies. So as I said before, I will also throw a few things out in the near future, as in giving it away to crafty friends, not putting in the bin. So yeah, if you got some inspiration from this video, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I post here, obviously not all craft room storage, also obviously many card making videos, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video.